You know that simple can of paint that's been sitting in your garage forever? It might look pretty ordinary, but it's actually hiding some incredible high-tech secrets. Today, we're gonna pry that lid off and show you the surprising science that's packed inside. And that is no exaggeration. When we say the world of paint has changed, we are not talking about a minor update. This is a complete, fundamental transformation of what paint even is and what it can do for our homes. So what's the big shift here? Well, for the longest time, we all thought of paint as just a cosmetic layer, right? Something to add a splash of color. But today, it's a completely different ballgame. It's an engineered, sophisticated protective system. So think of it less like decoration and more like a high-tech, long-lasting shield for your home. To really appreciate just how big this leap forward is, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Let's remember the frustrations of old paint. We've all been there, when keeping things looking fresh felt like a never-ending chore. Does any of this sound familiar? Your beautiful, vibrant color fading after just a couple of seasons in the sun. Surfaces that seem to be magnets for dirt and grime. And oh yeah, that constant cycle of chipping, peeling, and touching up. Plus, to get any kind of real performance, you often had to deal with some pretty harsh chemicals. So, how in the world did we get from that to where we are today? How did science step in and turn that simple can of color into the high-performance shield we now have? All right, this is where it gets really, really cool. We're about to go inside the can to look at the core technologies that give modern paint its incredible toughness. This is the science of strength. Everything starts with something called hybrid resins. You can think of these as the paint's high-performance backbone. Here's an analogy. If the dried paint on your wall is like a slab of concrete, these resins are like the steel rebar running through it, giving it unbelievable structural strength. And here's what that actually means for you and your walls. By blending these different advanced chemistries, scientists can create a paint film that's just incredibly tough. This is the tech that makes the surface way more durable and much, much better at resisting dirt and grime from day one. But it's not just about that tough backbone. Scientists also mix in what are called advanced additives. These are tiny, specialized molecules designed to give the paint specific, well, superpowers, like the ability to actually repel dirt. A fantastic example is a new class of additives called DPURs. Their whole job is to fight off grime and keep that just painted look for so much longer. But the real genius here is that they do their job without causing problems while the paint is still in the can, and that means you end up with a smoother, more flawless finish on the wall. Okay, now for a word you probably don't hear every day. Rheology. It sounds super complex, I know, but it's actually pretty simple. It's the science of how paint flows and behaves. It's what makes paint easy to work with, preventing it from being a drippy mess or a thick, gloppy paste. Getting the rheology right is absolutely key. And this is why it really matters to you when you're doing the painting. Modern paint is so precisely tuned that the same can of paint works great whether you're using a sprayer, a brush, or a roller. This gives you a smoother flow, a more even coat, and, maybe the best part, way less of that annoying spatter to clean up afterwards. Okay, so we've got a paint that's tougher, cleaner, and a whole lot easier to use. But the innovation doesn't stop there. The science has also completely revolutionized the pigments that create the color and the environmental footprint of the paint itself. Let's look at two quick examples. First, there's something called encapsulated titanium dioxide. It's just a clever way to boost the paint's hiding power, so you need fewer coats to get the job done. Second, and this is really cool, you have near-infrared reflecting pigments, or NIR pigments, which can actually reflect sunlight to keep surfaces from getting so hot. And the impact of those NIR pigments is huge. A surface with traditional paint just soaks up a ton of heat, but a modern, cool paint with this tech reflects that infrared energy, absorbing significantly less heat. This can make a real difference in a building's cooling costs. It's pretty amazing. Of course, all this amazing performance can't come at the expense of our planet. So paint chemists are in this constant balancing act. They're trying to use more bio-based, renewable materials. They're working to lower the VOCs, those volatile organic compounds, all while making absolutely sure the paint is still tough enough to stand up to whatever we throw at it. So when you start to put all these pieces together, you get a really clear picture of not just where paint is today, but where it's headed. And let me tell you, your walls have a very high-tech future. So if there's one key takeaway, it's this. Modern paint isn't about one single magic ingredient. It's what the experts call a holistic formulation approach. It's all about the synergy, the way the advanced resins, the smart additives, the fine-tuned rheology, and the engineered pigments all work together as one complete, perfectly balanced system. So what's next on the horizon? Well, the innovation pipeline is pretty incredible. We're talking about scientists using AI to discover and optimize new formulas faster than ever before. And get this, self-healing coatings. Coatings that could automatically repair minor scratches all by themselves. What sounded like pure science fiction is becoming the reality of tomorrow's paint can. And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The paint on your walls is now officially a piece of sophisticated material science. So it kind of makes you wonder, if your paint is this smart, what other everyday objects in your home are quietly getting a massive high-tech upgrade right under